Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Review video time. It's going to be this guy, which is the Salient Arms EMG, what do they call it? The 2011 4.3 DS full auto gas blowback pistol. So as you can probably see, this basically is kind of like a 2011. It's that Hi-Capa design. If it stops looking at my face. There you go. It's a 2011. It's a Hi-Capa design. This is a silver and gold version that they gave me. It's the 4.3, so it's the shorter barrel. And actually this one is apparently the CO2 model. I never actually bought this one. I got this in a mystery box a while ago, and I never really used it. I don't actually really use full auto pistols for one, and I don't really use CO2 pistols. Now, when you go on the website, you can buy a CO2 version, and so you can see here, and you can buy a green gas version. Now, I think they might be the same, i.e. the green gas version comes with green gas mags, the CO2 version comes with CO2 mags, but I think the actual pistol itself is the same pistol. Normally you'll have CO2 pistols that basically just have a higher tolerance. Obviously, not obviously, but when you use CO2, generally the actual rate, the actual force that you're going to have with the slide going back and forward is just higher power, so it can break a lot easier. So you'll often see CO2 pistols that can run on green gas, but green gas pistols that can't run on CO2. So I think it's the same. I actually recently was like, actually, I want to use it and I want to test it for you guys. So I went and bought a couple more magazines for this, the Salient Arms branded magazines, and these are green gas versions. So I thought, you know what, we'll do a review video of this because it is quite cool. It's a bit different, and I'll do a CO2 mag and a green gas mag on here just to give you guys the comparison of like which is which, what the FPS is, what the rate of fire is on both, so you can kind of see. And yes, rate of fire is a real thing on this one because it actually is full auto. Now, full auto for a pistol for me is like, which is why I don't use them. Generally, you can have it on the AAP01. I think with this, it's going to be kind of annoying. And I'll tell you why in a second. But just to go over the kind of generals of this thing, it's a pistol. It is kind of full metal. And it is definitely, it feels pretty solid in the hand. Like the actual build of it, I do quite like. I'm not a big fan of some of the Salient Arms style Glocks that I've got. Salient Arms is a real steel firearms manufacturer, and this is not real, anyone who's watching. And I think EMG, Evite Machine Group, have got a licensing deal with them, so they can effectively use a third-party manufacturer to build these. The actual manufacturer on these, I'm not sure. It's kind of like Salient Arms. I don't know who the actual manufacturer is. So it could be someone like Cybergun that's making... Sorry, Cybergun's actually a licensing company as well. So it could be something like KWA or VFC, but I don't think it is. Oh, WE. So I believe it's a CO2 magazine by AW Custom or WE. So those are the mags that will take it, so I'm not 100% sure. If you do know who actually makes the original, who makes this themselves, then do please let me know, because I think EMG just license it from Salient Arms and then they put their name on it. It gets very confusing with this. It's EMG, Salient Arms, International, 2011 4.3. Like it just gets on and on and on. But this basically is running on the Tokyo Marui Hi-Capa system. So, you know, if you want a Hi-Capa and you want something a bit different, I would say always go with Tokyo Marui. They built it. They know exactly what they're doing. That's the one where you know all the parts are built for it. But this definitely is a bit different, and it's kind of cool. I have to say, like, I wasn't sure about it when I unboxed it, but I do actually quite like the silver with the gold. I think it's quite a cool little kind of mix, which I wouldn't have picked myself. So if it is something you're looking at and you're like, hey, what does the silver and the gold look like? This is it in real life, or on your video screen as opposed to a picture. And yeah, as I said, I do think it feels pretty solidly built. One thing I've noticed is I don't really get much wear, and I haven't used this that much, but I don't really get much wear on the actual gold bolt. When I've got Glock versions of this, like the 20, so like the Glock 34, you can see here, there is some like wear where that gold is started to just with that movement of the slide over, it started to wear. Now that happens more with Glocks than it is going to with the 2011. But that's just something to say is like, I actually quite like that. It's got the SAI branding like on here, which I think also looks pretty cool. Salient arms everywhere. It's obviously got a Picatinny rail on the bottom, or sorry, a light mount rail. It's got your beaver tail safety like it would do. It has a normal safety here, which is, you know, your 2011 safety. It has the slide lock, again, pretty standard slide lock. As I said, it's the 4.3, so the shorter barrel length. And then it has this switch here, which for most would be an actual safety. However, this is the full auto, semi-auto switch, and it is very easy to knock. Like, I've definitely knocked it a few times and knocked this into full auto. So that's just something to bear in mind. When I actually had it originally, I thought I got a dud model because this side, the actual, I should point it in my face. This side, you can see here, this safety was on, and then this side, it wasn't on. And so it felt like there was some kind of bar in between here, which should, like on most Hi-Capa 2011 style pistols, that both sides should go up at the same time. Like they should both go like that, or they should both go down like that because they're linked. With this one, that's not the case. They're separate. And so it took me a little while to work out, oh wait, this is actually a full auto model, and that is what does the full auto. So if you get it out the box and you think, what's wrong with it? That is the reason. The mag release is kind of nice. It's not like oversized, but it is quite prominent, and I have to say I do like it. However, what I did do when I first got this is I dropped this mag out, and they do have the extended base plate, which is nice, but I accidentally dropped that. And what they ship with, or what I got mine with, was with a plastic base plate. Now, I bought a replacement one, which is this metal one, and I would say that's probably worthwhile because what ended up happening is I cracked the little rail here, and that meant that the bottom was just falling off. And if you've got the CO2 model, which that is not, the CO2 model, then you're basically just going to have that exposed at the bottom, which is not ideal. So you can get these are like you can get these from Evike. I'll put a link down to this pistol below, but that's going to be what it is. Cost-wise for this pistol, it's $209 for just like the silver CO2. That's actually not clicking into place, so that's a good thing to... There we go. Oh. Okay, so that's not really clicking into place fully, so that's something to think about. Is maybe because I dropped that's why it's doing it, but that is movable. So just bear that in mind, because that's obviously a quality control issue that this may not fit this properly, but yeah, just remember that. So yeah, so it's $209. You can get like a reload version as well, which I think is slightly more expensive at, what is it? It's the reload package is like $269. So you get an extra 2 mags with that. So I would say for like an extra $60, getting 2 of these mags is probably worthwhile. As I said, I don't really run CO2 pistols. What I don't like with a CO2 pistol is I don't know how much gas I've got left in here. If I've used my pistol in a game, I come back to the safe zone. What I really want to do is re-top up the gas. And with a CO2 canister, you can't do that, or a cartridge, you can't do that. You have to take it out and then put a fresh one in. And the recoil should be more, the FPS should be more, which is maybe good, maybe bad. But it is, for me, not as good. So when I got this, was like, right, I'll go green gas, but you may be looking for a CO2 pistol, so that's going to be the cost of that. The green gas one, I think, is slightly cheaper. It's like $285 as opposed to like it's the actual green gas version is, yeah, $285. Which is the carry package, and $199. So it's like minimal. It's like $8 difference in terms of that. But as I said, there will be a link down below to go to buy it from Evike. If you buy it through there, it's a referral link. So I'd really appreciate it if you did it through there, as opposed to just typing in evike.com. That's my little like shout out sponsor thing today. So what we'll do is we'll just give this a little test. Go through the points just of what they say it's good for. They say obviously it's got full auto. It's CNC machined aluminium with an alloy frame and slide, and it's solid but lightweight. I would agree with that. Titanium nitride style barrel. Great finish, very distinctive. I would say, yeah, that's kind of the same. It's got 45 ACP on the top here, which I do also quite like. Yeah, you see that SAI 45 ACP. Like, I'll give you a little close-up of this, but I do think it's pretty cool. Like, it's got that weird red nozzle in there, which I'm not sure about. But the actual nozzle action, it's got fairly good, like, air seal. If you see here, you can see the nozzle only just disengages there. So it stays in and then disengages. So the actual air seal on that's pretty good. They also say it's deep, crisp Salient Arms trademarks. Yep, they've been put in there pretty deeply. Fully licensed and engraved. It's a combat style with sights and forward fiber optic. So this front piece here is a fiber optic sight. You've got green fiber optic. You do not have fiber optic on the back. It's just a standard black sight. They also say anti-glare slide top and aggressive serrations. Okay, so I presume that's them saying that this is like an anti-glare because it's kind of got little lines on it. And then these are pretty aggressive. I don't know if that's what I call it, but they're aggressive. SAI grip panels. So that's that box design with SAI. So yeah, they've got that. And for comfort, texture, and realism. And then integrated accessory rail for lights and lasers. Yes, you have that as well. This would look quite cool with a light or a laser on it, but I don't know if you're going to find something silver to kind of match that. Gas blowback system, it's CO2 or green gas. So I think that this will, hopefully, we'll test it right now, run on those green gas mags. What else? It's the Tokyo Marui base, so it will take the Tokyo Marui parts generally, and it will also take Tokyo Marui green gas magazines for your Hi-Capa. And obviously it's not a plastic slide, so it should be more hard wearing, being CO2 as well. Adjustable hop up, semi-auto and full auto. And the Chrono, it says it's between 320 and 350. That's on the CO2, so we'll have a look at that. And what else? That's about it, I think. Magazine compatibility, it's a 30+1 mag. It's best with AW Custom or EMG Hi-Capa mags. It may not fit all Hi-Capa holsters due to a wider frame. That's something to bear in mind there as well. And it uses CO2 or green gas depending on preference. Upgrade potential, that's great. Easy to replace parts, maintain, yep. So let's test it. Let's have a look at what this is going to look like. I'll show you guys the action quickly, just so that you can see that on the green gas, because CO2, I'm going to have to put a new thing in there. Let's fill it up. The fill nozzle is on the bottom right there. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to fill it. It's a pretty deep one with this extended base plate on it. So we'll fill that up. And now we will get you an idea of what this is. So the action, you get the slide lock, slide release. I'm going to take off the safety right there. And then I think this in the upper position is semi-auto, but we'll find out now. Yep. So that's the thing. The kick's pretty nice. Snappy. The trigger's a little bit, gives a little bit there. And then it's quite nice little reset. And then full auto is actually in the down position, which I think is very weird. I don't know why they did it like that, but when you flick it to down mode, it kind of reminds me very much of an AAPO1. I would say that's kind of like close in terms of the rate of fire to that. So that is the kind of like action of it on green gas. What we'll do right now is I'm going to just put this CO2 capsule in here. Now I haven't used this magazine pretty much since I kind of broke it by dropping it. And I'm presuming that we'll be okay with the gas seal, but I haven't tested that. So what could happen right now is we have this gas situation where I'm going to drop this in. I'm going to tighten it, and it's a weird one because it's like a physical tighten. You know, it's not like a flathead screwdriver or a hex key. So I've got to basically screw this in myself and try and do it quickly so that it doesn't kind of just leak out gas from the CO2. But it could just go constantly, so we'll see. Yeah, this is not good to put in yourself. Okay, I can't even do that right now. So what I'm going to do maybe is get some pliers, and I'm going to do it with that. One sec. Okay, here we go, some pliers. These probably aren't as like thick as I would like, but I just quickly did that. And we'll do a quick turn. So that seems like it's working. Yeah, so that was fine. So that's all good. We'll put the base plate back on. I have kind of dented that slightly, a bit of teeth marks on there. But we'll put this on and we'll hopefully see that it's going to be the same, maybe with a bit more of a kick to it. There are no BBs in here, but I'm going to put this on just because safety first. Right, so we're going to... See, that's what happened there. That mag just dropped out. And if only I'd had it on the other camera, you'd have seen that. But for some reason, I don't think I actually hit the mag release on that. So that's very strange. Okay, so here is the semi-auto. We'll flick it up. Okay, so the kick on this is a lot more. It's louder and the kick is a lot more. Okay, and then in full auto, let's see if that rate of fire increases at all. See, like the actual vibration of that knocked that base plate off. So I would say the rate of fire is faster, but it definitely has an issue where, you know what I think it is when you look here, that little catch at the bottom of the magazine is slightly indented, and that's what locks in the base plate. So when this base plate goes in there, onto that piece, that should click in and hold it. And for some reason, mine is damaged from where I had it previously. And so that hopefully won't be the same with yours, but that is something that's happening with mine. So yeah, so I might just keep that off, and we know that this is the green gas mag. So what we're going to do now is we will fill these up and we will get a good idea quickly of what the FPS reading is. And the rate of fire on each magazine. So I'm using 0.2 gram BBs just because I want this to be a fair test. We want to be able to just, well, not to be a fair test. So it's just easier for you guys because I keep doing it on 0.25s, which is probably what I would run in this pistol. But then we have to kind of like convert it. Like what would this be in 0.2 so that we can compare it to other stuff. I wish they would just stop, doing the FPSs in 0.2s. It really just would be a lot easier to do it in something higher. Right, so I'll put this in here. We'll put it on semi-auto. And then I am going to charge the action. And we will have a test of what this is firing at. Okay, so that says 268, 279, 298, 298, 297, 293, 295. So that on those last four were very consistent. So that might just been the mag being a bit cold or too full to start with, but that was super consistent. Rate of fire. Let's push this down here and we'll have an idea now of the rate of fire. And this is on green gas, guys, just so we're remembering. Okay, so this is green gas, rate of fire. So that's 17 rounds a second. So that's pretty quick. And I've got slide lock right there. A little bit of gas spitting. But actually, to be honest, like the more I play around with this, the more I like it. It does make a bit of a shaky. And it does have a harder slide on the top. And it is flashy. I mean, it's flashy looking. You can get a black version, which is going to be a bit less flashy. But I think that that's what you're going with the Salient arms. It's like a performance pistol. So we'll try now with the green gas. Sorry, with the CO2. And let's have a little look at what that's firing at. I should just fill up the mag. So this is a fairly fresh CO2 canister. Like as you saw, put that in there. We've only had a couple of shots on it. So this should hopefully be a good test of, it's not fresh, but it's pretty new in there. I'm going to turn this off so that we get a fresh reading again. And rack the action. FPS on this is going, let's put that in semi-auto. FPS 397. So we're going up 100 FPS on that. So it's a 400 FPS replica basically. 396, 392, 391, 388. And look at that. So I've had a malfunction there where I don't know why, but we got a slide lock on that on 398. Now there could be something that went on with that. Have we got anything in the barrel? Nope, nothing in the barrel. But that's gone from 398 to 388. 388, 383. So it is dropping off, but it's going to start around 400 and it's going to drop off from there. Let's do a rate of fire with the CO2 and we'll see what we're doing with that. So I'm going to flick this into the full auto position. The thing I find really annoying is like that is there to be the safety, which is great, but to flick it to full auto, semi-auto, it's like, I don't think you really want to be doing it, but it's definitely a weird position to do that. You know, like the AAPO1's got it under the slide. I kind of wish it was more like, I'm not going to knock it and cause that issue. Right, rate of fire on this bad boy is going to be 15. So it's going to be slightly slower, it seems, on the CO2, and that might just be because it's kicking the slide back further, because we had 17. I mean, it's 15.6 to 17. It's going to be fairly similar. I'm just going to finish off this mag. Like, it's definitely very, very satisfying to shoot. Like, the recoil is nice. It feels really good. That, as I fired it there, did seem like it was just laser beaming the actual BBs. If you want to reverse it and like zoom in, that did seem pretty great. So yeah, so my overall thoughts on this, guys, is I think it's pretty great. I have to say, like, for what it is, a $200 pistol, I think you get something different. You get something with a big brand name on it. It's obviously a Hi-Capa, so you can upgrade it as much as you want. I'll talk to the camera when I do this. So you can upgrade it as much as you want. It obviously is not Tokyo Marui, and I don't know how well this lasts. And just based on my experience with the magazine, really only, I've had a bad situation where that magazine has just, I've dropped it and then the base plate is kind of like coming off and coming on. We did have like a slide lock back there where it wasn't supposed to slide lock. So I don't think it's going to be like your Tokyo Marui magic that's sprinkled in here. But I do think for $200, you're getting something that's different. You're getting something that's a Hi-Capa. I do think it looks pretty cool, and it definitely feels pretty cool in your hands. I like a 4.3. I just like the shorter barrel length. So I don't know. You can make your own decision just on the look of it, because I don't know. I think it is pretty cool, and I do now like these after doing my Glock 34 TTI one. But that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has been really interesting for you guys, but also of value, and you can kind of see if you want to get a CO2 or a green gas pistol from this. But I will leave you there. Have a great day wherever you are, and I will see you all very soon on the next video. Goodbye.